I need to mention is like one thing that I have seen from disability activists. One thing that I have heard from disability activists over and over again is the common thread for disabled people, especially like disabled writers and whatnot, is always people questioning their disability. It happens way more frequently than you would expect, which is why this story is really interesting, because covering a story like this where the dude is like straight up a fucking villain, right? And looks like a villain, talks like a villain, acts like a villain, is a really unique one where most people are like, even when you're covering whether or not they're lying about the accident or lying about their disability, you could find yourself being straight up fucking ableist, okay? Like very, very ableist. His behavior has nothing to do with his disability. No, you're mistaking me. People talking about like whether or not his injuries are legitimate or not, or questioning his disabilities, is inherently ableist, okay? And it's a problem that disabled people experience all the time. Me talking about this is not going to... You're not going to be able to comprehend it because... How do I describe it? It's so invisible, okay? It's just so fucking invisible. We legitimately do not have any fucking representation. And any time like disability activists gain prominence, it's always about some shit like fucking blind spot. You know what I mean? Oh, we got to eliminate blind spot, or we got to eliminate fucking the word like blind runs. So it's laughed at overall. But there are some serious ongoing problems that are like more often than not just invisible, and people don't think about it. People don't consider it at all. So that's the other problem. They aren't saying he isn't disabled. They're saying he lied about his friend. No. This is like decent coverage. It's not like I mean, I'm not the best understander of the plight that members in the disability community go through. I'm probably not even using the fucking right language for it. I wish people would realize that being disabled doesn't get you free anything. Your life is considerably harder and most benefits you. I mean, you literally can say that about straight up every marginalized group, by the way. That is the exact same fucking thing. That is the exact same thing that every marginalized community goes through, by the way. But oh my God, I have reached 2 fucking hours without a single goddamn ad. What the fuck's going on? No one has told me to run ads. You said we? No, I didn't say we. Okay, I'm running 2 minutes of ads right now, and I gotta go grab a drink real quick while I continue with the story. I apologize. I'm gonna grab a drink. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna continue with the story. If you want an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a 60-second ad, and I'll do it at the top of 2. I'm gonna run it right now. But if you wanna, I'm just running a 60-second ad. Top of the hour every hour. If you no longer want ads in your broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. Here's the ad now. Boom.
And went on to be the core part of the narrative Cawthorn weaved about himself as he ran for Congress.
I know something about adversity. At 18 years old, I was in a horrific car accident that's left me paralyzed from the waist down.
His campaign website claiming that he was nominated to the prestigious U.S. Naval Academy, but his plans were derailed by the car accident. But in this 2017 deposition related to the accident obtained by CNN, Cawthorn admitted that he was rejected by the Academy before the accident. The details of Cawthorn's background, part of a Washington Post investigation into the freshman lawmaker who at 25 years old is the youngest member of Congress.
There were a lot of false statements, that there were baseless allegations made. There's no question that he's trying to take that page from the Trump playbook.
Those false statements include Cawthorn's baseless claims of election fraud, which he spread during his remarks at the January 6th rally on the National Mall, the same day rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol, and has pushed in the aftermath of the insurrection.
Well, we do have concrete evidence that there were ballot drop boxes inside of Wisconsin. I don't have the white pages on me.
And just clarifying there, Wolf, that these allegations of sexual misconduct were when Cawthorn was in college. That was 4 years ago. Now, a spokesperson for Cawthorn tells me tonight that they believe that all these questions have been asked and answered during the course of the campaign. And they note that he, of course, did win his campaign by 12 percentage points, but they would not, notably, Wolf, make the congressman available for comment.
This morning's target was this.
Did I not run the ad? No, I did run the ad. Okay. No, the ad did run. Disabled people have to toe the line between you seem sick and you're not sick enough, and it's fucking exhausting when you're chronically sick. Invisible illnesses are the worst.
Okay.
Literally still legal to pay disabled people less than minimum wage in some states like mine. It makes it very difficult to live. Yeah. Turkish tribal people try Turkish snacks for the first time. I don't want to watch that right now. I did run the ad. Republicans have figured out a new way to try to filibust some bitches. Okay, filibusting some bitches, dude. Republican Ron Johnson is telling Wisconsin radio station that he plans to force the Senate to read the entire COVID relief bill before debate can begin, further delaying help that millions of Americans need. It will take at least 10 fucking hours, dude. Yeah. They are literally like, they're such demons, dude. You are such a fucking demon if this is your approach to your job. You're like such a piece of shit. It blows my mind. Wild. Yeah, he should read it. No, they're gonna make a staffer read it. Stop asking Cinema and Mansion if they support the filibuster. Start asking them why they don't want to pass the For the People Act legislation on climate change and the rest of the vital bills that can't pass via budget reconciliation and also can't pass because of the filibuster. Yeah. I saw that Andrew from All Gas No Brakes is with Alex Jones right now. Very good news related to the NYPD from last week that got lost in the shuffle. What? Oh, Jesus Christ. The word cancel is lost all meaning. Here's a New York City councilwoman saying we shouldn't cancel Cuomo. Lori A. Cumbo, a majority leader for the New York City Council. What the fuck is that last name? Said that it was vital to both provide a safe space and a place for women to come forward and allow an independent investigation to run its course. Sure, we can cancel him. Sure, we can ask him to resign. Sure, we can demand that he resign and we move forward. But once we've canceled Governor Cuomo, are we just creating, this cycle? Bro. Canceling is everything now. It really is. Like, how, if you call this a cancellation, then like the implication there is that it's not something that they deserve scrutiny for, right? Like that's what cancel culture is most commonly used for, right? You say you're canceling something and you use it as a pejorative, like as cancel culture, nobody likes it, whatever, with the implication that what you think they did does not deserve scrutiny. And that's what you're saying. It's like, in a way, no different than, not even, I won't even say scrutiny. I will say accountability. You are saying that a person does not deserve accountability for their actions, and that's why you use the term cancel culture, rather than whatever the fuck the actual term would be, which is accountability. You can literally use that for Harvey Weinstein. Like, cancel culture took down Harvey Weinstein. See? You understand how everyone would assume that you're defending Harvey Weinstein there? Wow, cancel culture really took down Jeffrey Epstein. It's kind of fucked up. Like, what's next? So if you throw cancel as a substitute for every single situation, you are you're trying to run defense in the most pathetic way you can by likening accountability to a negative thing, right? Like, accountability in a warranted situation is actually unwarranted immediately as soon as you say something is a cancellation.
Has comrade.
So, It's ridiculous. It's silly. It's pathetic. It's cowardly to do that. And
Thanks for educating me, Dad.
and you know, you can literally apply it in a similar capacity to Harvey Weinstein and whatnot. But we all knew the word cancel was going to be used inappropriately years ago. And perhaps the greatest example of that you can see in my latest YouTube video. Marjorie Taylor Greene meets Boo Boo Bennett, where Marjorie Taylor Greene literally says, "We are canceling the lives of babies by aborting them." Like she says, we're canceling children in the womb.
Comrade.
That's what she uses for abortion. Now, abortion is already likened to murder. Why the fuck would you? Why would you use a literal fucking lesser version of murder in that situation? That's how. Why would you downgrade from murder? Because that's how fucking disliked cancel culture is now. It is. That's how popular it is to be like, I hate cancel culture. Everyone hates it. It's up there with like pedophilia. Okay. Nobody likes it. Nobody thinks it's all right. Everybody fucking hates it. Understandably so. So it is ridiculous at this point.
Hey Chad people, hey.
Nice job with the news today. So glad it's RP time. Don Scoot. Yeah, not yet, my friend. I'm like, this cancel culture fear comes from thinking you're not worthy of feeling better than someone else. No, it comes from the fear that you don't want criticism. Asian, Hispanic, pasta sauce, potato gravy. I don't see race. I don't care whether you're... True. These are literally the races. Italian, Irish. I'm confused. It's like all the fucking races, dude. All the POC. When they say black, indigenous, POC, this is what they mean. Black, indigenous. And then the POC part is Asian, Hispanic, Italian, Irish.
Hola chat como están 3.
Why did it take 6 months for this to come out about Madison? People don't have the capability of...
What you were.
They don't have the capacity to pay attention to multiple things going on. The news cycle
contemplating spending a stack of dollar bills over 135 miles high, extending more than halfway to the moon. With that, Madam President, I yield the floor.
I really like Republican politicians disgust me, honestly. Because politicians in general disgust me, but they're just the fucking worst. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, they're just so bad.
4 month very pogo.
Like, he's just trying to turn a relief bill into a negative so desperately that he's like, look at how much money we're spending. It's so fucking irrelevant. It's so idiotic. Like, why did you take the time out and use your staffers' brain processing power to put this together rather than literally doing anything else?
Hassle.
How he saw a statistic, how much money does Jeff Bezos have video, and is trying to turn it around to own the libs. But it just sucks. I They spent 2 of those on a failed fighter jet program. Hey, I'm sorry. Is it truly a failed fighter jet program if Saudi Arabia is still willing to buy those jets? $28 trillion in debt, Omega Law. Let's spend more money, Omega Law. Here's a person who just literally does not understand how this works. Just, unfortunately, an unfortunate soul who lacks the comprehension. I'm not going to ban them. I'm not going to ban someone for being really stupid. I'll ban them for being an asshole or ignorant. Especially because no one has ever fucking stopped spending because we've been in debt for as long as this dumbass has been alive. Can you imagine? And there are ways to mitigate around the deficit. You know, policies such as taxing the wealthy and corporations and eliminating tax havens and loopholes that corporations and the wealthy take advantage of regularly. Not increasing the tax cuts for said corporations and the wealthy at a time when we are, we do have a gigantic deficit. If you are bringing up the deficit every time we're giving money to the working poor, you are outing yourself as a gigantic piece of shit. And a fucking moron as well. So congratulations for being a piece of shit and a moron simultaneously. When you call people like that out, they just leave. I mean, who cares? The irony is that that favorable thing is never going to come back and help them. Do you understand? Like, they are advocating for... They're advocating for benefits that they will never see. As a matter of fact, those benefits will hurt them in the long run because their infrastructure sucks, right? The roads are dog shit. The education is bad. You won't see the benefits of gigantic tax cuts, my friend. You just won't.
Welcome back to CBS This Morning. Hundreds of thousands of Amazon employees are watching one of the most significant unionization drives in a generation. Workers at an Amazon warehouse near Birmingham, Alabama, are voting on whether to join a retail workers union. Their colleagues around the country are wondering how that will affect them. Mark Strassman is at that fulfillment center in Bessemer, Alabama, where he spoke to some of the workers. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Anthony. In 2 shifts a day here, 5,800 workers sort, package, and ship the sort of Amazon boxes that many of us get delivered at home. They make more than $15 an hour, which is more than double the minimum wage. But some of them tell us the company refuses to hear their complaints and frustrations. Michael Foster is a union organizer, and early this morning, we found him outside the Amazon warehouse at Shift Change, where he's campaigned for votes since last October.
Amazon is treating the people disrespectful. They basically telling the people, if you don't want to abide by the way we work, you can go find another job somewhere else.
According to the union, roughly 85% of the workers at this massive warehouse are black. Most are women. Many complain about grueling.
You don't understand, guys. Unions are racist and also sexist and bad, sweetie. You're wrong, sweetie pie. Oh, wait, wrong. The black labor force in the United States has a higher union participation rate than the white labor force in the United States. On facts with Hassan about unions.
Unsafe conditions with inadequate bathroom and meal breaks.
We're being treated like
Who says that? Republicans, some liberals that are anti-union because they are neolibs. Yeah, a lot of people. Unions are corrupt. Unions are racist. Unions are bad. Are very commonplace. Liberals fucking criticize unions too.
prisoners who's there to get a job done?
Jennifer Bates and Daryl Richardson.
Also, for those of you who are asking that question, I literally debated a black conservative who around the subject, and his counter was unions are racist.
Both work at the warehouse.
What's your biggest frustration there?
Job security, respect, and your safety, well-being.
The community don't realize is what's going on behind the curtain. What are the people there going through just to make sure that we get our packages?
It's time for us to make a stand. It's time for some changes.
Frustrated workers contacted the retail, wholesale, and department store union. Celebrities like Danny Glover support them.
Martin Luther King said the best anti-poverty program he knew of was the union. And that still remains so. More than 60 years after
Danny
he said
Glover's
make
the
that
fucking
statement.
man, dude.
And this week, President
so
Biden
sick.
weighed in.
Every worker should have a free and fair choice to join a union.
But they are Amazon, and this is Alabama. The e-commerce behemoth is fighting the union.
Here's what's fucking bullshit about the "this is Alabama" rhetoric, okay? First of all, they're literally using Alabama's $7.25 minimum wage as a counterpoint against fucking unions. Like, they're like, Amazon's literally saying, well, we're offering $15 already. Like, it's good enough. Fuck off. If you don't like it, you can go work for $7. One, that is precisely why you need to increase the minimum wage to $15, okay? So remember that. And two, it's still a lie because unionized distribution facilities in Alabama are paying, on average, $19 an hour. So that is precisely why unionization is good. So turning around and being like, oh, well, you know, they're, you know, people who are working at the fast food industry are making $7.25. Like, why aren't you happy with the $15? Well, maybe because the unionized employees across the street in the fucking distribution facility are making $19 an hour. Why don't we fucking increase the wages to $19 an hour? Oh, wait, you won't do that without fucking unions pushing for it.
Union drive in this right-to-work state. In a statement, the company told us if the union vote passes, it will impact everyone at the site, and it's important associates understand what that means for them and their day-to-day life working at Amazon. Amazon worker Don Hogue will vote no.
You're sad, bro. So envious with people with money. They always able to avoid taxes, get over it, reduce government spending, period. Start with endless wars in the Middle East and corporate bailouts before you bring up healthcare in European countries. You forget NATO lets them forego military spending in the U.S. Yes, chatter, I will be paying less to the government than your dad and maybe your grandfather. Thank you. Keep advocating for my interests. If you hate me, then, you know, maybe you should be fucking trying to tax me more, okay? Instead of having such an idiotic take.
I've yet to personally encounter anyone that is pro-union. I do not see a point in paying somebody to do something I'm fully capable to do for myself, and that being advocating.
But the union believes these workers need a voice, and they'll deliver the votes despite long odds.
If you put enough heart in anything that you do, you can do anything.
Even in Alabama?
Even in Alabama. We have not been able to organize in Alabama as we wish we could, but things are meant to change.
This is a vote.
This is actually a really remarkable story. The difference in the union percentages and effect of less POC having white-collar jobs. Yes, that is one reason for it.
By mail and will go on until March 29th. The union expects this to be a close vote. But whichever side wins, the loser could challenge the outcome. Tony?
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Very consequential vote. I understand not understanding why you're paying somebody and what are they going to do for you, but you realize what they may do for you when you need them and they're not there.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know the right answer here to union or not to unionize, but they're certainly raising some very...
Wait, why would you not know? What the fuck are these people saying, dude? Like, I bet she is already a part of fucking the Screen Actors Guild and shit, too. I don't know what it's like for television, television personalities, but like there's a very high likelihood that she's literally a part of a fucking union, okay? News anchors have unions? Okay, there it is.
Troubling issues that I think need to be addressed.
Yeah, and as we pointed out at the beginning, we haven't seen a unionization battle this significant in quite a long time.
Yeah, this is true, and it's very good. Especially because this will have a shockwave effect throughout the entire country. You can't give people a shred of hope, okay? Just like Republicans understand you can't give them any extra money, okay, no matter how much they need it, because you don't want the government to work for you. You don't want people to have confidence that the government should be working for you and believe that the government should and can work for you, right? The same goes for unionizing against Amazon. You unionize against Amazon like this at a distribution facility, that's shockwaves. It's going to galvanize people. It's going to help people recognize that they have more power. They have more of a say. It's a great situation. We are simply in hell. Why do people care about pissing off the rich? If we all stopped caring about fee-fees of the rich, we would be in a lot better conditions. Why do people care about pissing off the rich? Because they have all the fucking money? And they're super powerful? I don't know. Where else should I... Like, they're incredibly powerful and will do unspeakable cruelty to you if they're pissed off enough. They literally hold over your only way of survival over your head if they are your bosses.
We can't.
Jesus Christ. Lauren Boebert makes up the words transvex hikes. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Okay. I know I just ran an ad, but it's top of the hour every hour. It's time for another 60-second ad break right now, boys, girls, and bees. All right. Because I forgot to run one. So top of the hours are back and better than ever. If you no longer want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like getting money from Jeff Bezos and giving it to me, your favorite streamer. I'm running the ad now. Here it is. Lauren Boebert.
Can't say the same for the so-called Equality Act, which we all know that's just the Democrats using a play on words. There's nothing about equality in that act. If anything, it's supremacy of gays and lesbians and transvestites. I mean, like, that's what this is about.
Bro. Okay, listen. I'm about to say some fucked up shit. Are you ready for this? There is perhaps no better indication that trans people was not a part of this person's vernacular or even occupied any space in their minds until they became a politician. Okay? This is literally trying to be transphobic. Again, it's like when Ben Shapiro correctly genders a trans person and then stops himself and then misgenders them on purpose.
9 months,
okay?
easy clap.
If you haven't even done the work to be transphobic, you understand? Like, that's how little she actually would normally give a fuck about trans people's existence. But because it's such a popular thing to dunk on and, like, gain conservative brownie points on, she's like, transvex hikes. Fuck. Like, literally, she was trying to say transvestites, which is an antiquated and outdated term that trans people no longer use, okay? And she is trying to fucking... She can't remember either to say transgender. I don't think she's, like, purposely trying to say, like, transvestites in a... Because she is aware of, like, the negative connotation or something. She's just, like... She just doesn't know. Do you see what I'm saying? She is a trender for transphobia. He was literally struggling to find the word. Yeah, because it does not occupy a fucking space in her mind. Other than how much she can use that to gain momentum within the conservative movement. Yeah, she's doing trender transphobia.
is about putting them higher than anyone else. It's not about equality. If you look at the Constitution, then that is where equality is kept secure and held sacred. We have the 14th Amendment that says that.
It's like stepping on eggshells with all the constantly changing terminology. What do you mean? Are you talking about like when you're being a conservative? Guys, being a conservative is really hard. You just need to learn all the new slurs and stuff to make sure that like, you know, to make sure that like everybody knows that you're signaling, you're virtue signaling to the rest of your fucking constituents that you hate the things that they hate. You know what I mean? It's so hard. I gotta like constantly remember. I gotta constantly remember how to be a fucking asshole because sometimes I forget. Because you know, in reality, it doesn't occupy my mind at all. Why the fuck would I? Why the fuck would I actually legitimately be so fucking outwardly hateful towards trans people when they're just living their day-to-day existence? You got to do it to win brownie points with the conservatives, though.
What does a UFO and a clever Republican have in common? Everybody talks about them, but no one has seen one.
Yeah, she's doing hoggers. No, I'm not going to pause yet. She's doing hoggers.
Has boomer.
Anyway, the government is supposed to put all non-whites in jail and bomb every country and give rich people more money.
Transgender pride.
I agree. That was a good joke, chatter. A clever Republican and a UFO one. Good job. Pretty good.
2 months to the former woke bay.
The terms do change a lot. Yes, they do. They do. I've joked about it. Like I've said that understanding everything that is everything revolving around like you know, gender and sexuality is like rocket science to me from time to time. You know what I mean? But you know, you're deliberately trying to be a fucking asshole when you are what do you call it? You're deliberately being an asshole when you're like, the Equality Act is about LGBT supremacy. Like, no, that's not you walking around eggshells. As a matter of fact, you're trying to literally be an asshole more than you normally would care to be.
All men are equal under the law. So we need to hold that supreme rather than woke ideologies. So unfortunately, we can't say this.
Can we now get your opinion on neopronouns? No. I feel like people who ask me my opinion on neopronouns are either fucking unironic Tumblr refugees that are looking for a space here, who want to fucking argue and tell me how non-woke I am, or people who are literally baiting because they want to fucking dunk on trans people, and this is a good, or this is like a relatively acceptable avenue for them to do that through, okay? And both of those people, regardless of whether they are on, wherever they are on the fucking moral playing field, wherever they are on the moral playing field, they might be on the different sides of the argument there. They're literally on the same side when it comes to their fucking interest in debating, okay? That's all they want. That's all they want. They want fucking debate. They want, you know, they want fucking bloodshed. That's all they want to see.
Hassle.
Just learned there's 2 Cuomos. Neopronouns are new pronouns like Z, Z, Zem, E, R, M, or whatever. There's like a bunch of Zer, I think is another one. I just don't know. I don't know. It's like too complicated.
Cents.
Please stop.
50 cent featuring
I just, I'm never gonna, I'm never going to give you my opinion on it. Okay, shut the fuck up. It's bait. It's literally bait. Tumblr got banned. There's no more pornography there. Get over it. Sorry. Fucking cancel culture, dude. Okay. Anyway. So now everyone's going to get vaccinated now. Let's go. What is this?
As a billionaire.
Turns out if you get vaccinated, you're more likely to get laid. Oh, so here's the thing. More funded propaganda. Sad to see it's reached Barstool. Yeah, dude, it's funded propaganda. We were going to talk about vaccinations. Good news on vaccinations, okay? Good news on vaccinations, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, MBs. Good news on vaccinations. Joe Biden came out yesterday and said that we are ahead of schedule in the United States of America with our vaccine, not distribution and delivery, but at least our vaccine manufacturing. And said that we are going to have enough vaccines for every single person, every single eligible person in the United States of America by May. The previous estimates were July, and now May is the new estimate, which is very good news. Joe Biden did a good thing here, okay? What? Biden calls Texas politicians Neanderthals? Oh, I have other fucking words for Texas politicians than Neanderthals. Oh my God. Scott Gottlieb has a new take. Well, hold on. Let me do the vaccination news first, okay? Every adult, yes. Yeah, Neanderthal. Calling them Neanderthal is like a very, very nice way of getting out of it. They're scumbags in every way. I'm surprised. Okay, so let's get to the vaccine thing. Fuck, isn't there like an announcement that I can look at, like a video where Joe Biden mentions it and announces that he because I know that there was a speech. I need to find it though. Professional Republicans are pure evil. Yeah, we already talked about that. From yesterday, yeah, I know. So, anyway, whatever. I'll just continue with it. So, some of the good things that Joe Biden did in with respect to the vaccinations, some of the good things that the Biden administration did. And by the way, this is literally what I used to say. Like, Joe Biden's administration is going to be more competent and better than Donald Trump in this regard. And they actually did do this. Is use the Defense Production Act to make, I think it was it Merck that started to make competing pharmaceutical manufacturers to produce vaccinations of competitors' vaccines, which is a good use of the DPA, and Merck and Johnson & Johnson. So they forced Merck to start making Johnson & Johnson vaccine, to start manufacturing Johnson & Johnson vaccines, which is good and it's smart. And I applaud the Biden administration for doing the right thing there. And that is a big difference between the Trump administration and the Biden administration, for sure. Distribution side problems being eliminated is another added benefit to having a competent administration. It is the bare minimum, though. We must remember that what we are talking about right now is literally the fucking very bare minimum that every government should be doing, right? So we are, again, celebrating Joe Biden for doing the bare minimum.
Now on track to have enough vaccine supply for every adult in America by the end of May. Let me say that again.
Still good news regardless.
When we came into office, the prior administration had contracted for not nearly enough vaccine to cover adults in America. We rectified that. About 3 weeks ago, we were able to say that we'll have enough vaccine supply for adults by the end of July. And I'm pleased to announce today, as a consequence of the stepped-up process that I've ordered and just outlined, this country will have enough vaccine supply, I'll say it again, for every adult in America by the end of May. By the end of May.
20 months, that's crazy.
That's progress, important progress.
It is very good. So that's actually a good thing. Like I was saying, there's still issues with distribution and delivery. The Merck deal wasn't through the DPA, but rather because Johnson & Johnson fell behind on production and Biden stepped in. Still good news, but it's the bare minimum. Oh, shit. I thought it was the DPA. I thought they flexed the DPA to get them to do it. Regardless, they're doing the right thing. Okay? They're doing the good thing. They're doing the bare minimum, and this is good. And that's fucking awesome. It is America finally utilizing its power to help its citizens in a time of need. So that means vaccine doses created by then, not distributed, let alone administered. I know. I'm getting there. So there's still problems with the delivery, and there's still problems with the distribution. That doesn't mean that people are going to take it, even if you are delivering the vaccines, and even if you are distributing that. There's other issues as well. But overall, this is a good thing. I hate to say that I was right about this, or I guess I love to say that I was right about this specific instance where like the Biden administration was going to be more competent than the Trump one. Speaking of Trump and vaccines, didn't it come out recently that Donald Trump actually literally fucking took the vaccine, but in secret? According to USA Today, Donald Trump potentially and secretly received, and Melania Trump as well, the COVID-19 vaccine in January. Former President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump received the coronavirus vaccines in early January on the advice of doctors, according to a Trump advisor speaking on condition of anonymity to discuss their ex-president's medical history. So, not only did Donald Trump already have the antibodies, so he is like, and he had it recently, he was one of the few people that technically didn't need to get the vaccine. It's still good that he did, but it is ridiculous that he didn't do it in public. Because, as we all know, there is a gigantic fucking group of anti-vaxxers within his audience and within his stands, basically, that would probably go out and get the vaccine if Donald Trump got the vaccine. But because he very likely did not want to abandon the anti-vaxxer populist stance that he has, that he did it in secret. Very cool. Antibodies from being infected can be gone within 6 months, but yeah, what the fuck? Why in secret? Yeah, I know, but it hasn't been 6 months since he got it. That's what I'm trying to say. They did flex the DPA paying. Yeah, when yeah. They always do. Like, this is one way to make sure that the fucking pharmaceutical corporations will operate in the way that you want them to, by telling them, like, if you don't do this, we'll fucking force you to do it. Georgia made the list of worst vaccine rollout in the nation. I'm disappointed by Governor Kemp's failure to execute a responsive plan to get more eligible Georgians vaccinated. Oh, great. Republican messaging is so stupid. It absolutely is so fucking idiotic. Where Republicans don't want you to get the fucking vaccine, want to reopen businesses, and don't want you to wear masks. It's almost like if this is a battle between two teams, like humanity and COVID, they are siding with COVID. Like, they literally are doing everything they can to give COVID an advantage. It is mind-boggling to me. You are so dense, lol. Please explain to me what I just said. Oh, no. Oh, fucking anti-vaxxer guy in the chat. Here it is. Anti-vaxxers don't get vaccinated at all. Mononite elderly homes, 0 deaths until all were vaccinated, 12 deaths. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, elder home where there are 0 deaths, dude. Very cool take. You don't shit out free college. Talk about psychopath. No such thing as free college. ... More tolerant as you bash religious right. Lol. As you say free college. Lol. You could take it all from them and it wouldn't do a thing. ... Oh God. Why do people think that they're fucking anime protagonists when they're writing in my chat? Like, you take it all from them and it wouldn't do a thing. I'm so fucking deep, by the way. I use ellipses. You will never understand where I'm coming from. Fuck. You don't pay anyone $50 unless it's some part-time crap, lol. It fires people. Yeah, to the millions of people that currently get paid less than $15 an hour. Sorry, you're doing part-time crap because Herc forever thought that you were doing part-time crap. The irony is that you understand how meager the $15 wages are when you say things like this. You understand?
$18 months.
So you're right. We are on board together. So maybe you're on board with paying people that are working a full-time job better wages. Kirk forever, this is you. Yeah, top minds in the chat. Chat scientists.
And the reason why Republicans are team
Oh no, I'm not going to ban him. I'm keeping him. Some of the pets, I've banned too many people. Some of the pets are really fucking funny, and you know, I think keeping them is. I think keeping them is a benefit to the content.
Did you pray today, Peepo Baba?
We appreciate you, Herc forever. Please continue your incredible takes in the chat about how vaccines make you gay. So yeah, good news on the vaccine stuff. We continue to be very prescriptive and not give people a realistic vision for a better future. They're going to start ignoring the public health guidance. Scott Gottlieb says the government has to walk a very fine line here, he adds.
Talked a little bit earlier today about Texas. The governor there saying they're going to open up businesses at 100% and they're going to get rid of the mask mandates. Is that a problem in your perspective?
Look, I think we need to be careful how we start to relax provisions, and we're certainly going to be relaxing provisions over the course of this month. March really is a difficult month. It sits between two worlds. February was a raging epidemic. It was very clear that we needed to have measures in place. I think April is going to be profoundly better, and March is sitting in the middle. The situation's improving. It's going to start to hopefully accelerate. But we still face a lot of risk of a resurgence this month, and we're still grappling with variants that we don't fully understand. We're trying to get the population vaccinated more aggressively. I think, we need to be careful how we take the foot off the brake. Now, that said, we also need to give the public realistic goals when we are going to be relaxing these provisions and set up some kind of a timeline. A lot of public health officials were critical of what the UK did, where they set up specific dates as targets for when they're going to lift certain provisions and have a more open population, more open environment. But I think you need to give realistic targets. CDC is going to come out with guidance this week that's going to prescribe what people can start to do, particularly after they're vaccinated. I think it's going to be overly prescriptive and conservative, and that's the wrong message, because if we continue to be very prescriptive and not give people a realistic vision for what a better future is going to look like, they're going to start to ignore the public health guidance. And for the most part, over the last 12 months, the American population has put up with a lot. They've complied with a lot of the provisions that have been put in place, and we're safer for that. And we're going to lose that support if we don't give a realistic glide path to a better future. Now, March is a little bit premature, I think, to lift everything, but certainly getting on a glide path towards lifting a lot of these provisions right now makes sense.
It's interesting that you talk about the CDC provisions that I think we're expecting on Thursday. Anthony Fauci was talking about them yesterday and basically said, look, if you have a group of adults, maybe a small group of adults, your grown children who come home, you've been vaccinated, they've been double vaccinated, then it's okay to have masks off in a small environment at home. And I thought exactly what you just said. That seems incredibly conservative. I feel like people get the vaccine, they feel like they can get out there. Maybe it's not life back as normal as it was before, but the idea that you can only have fully vaccinated people around you at that point, especially when kids aren't going to be vaccinated, and that's the only way you can take your mask off in that environment, that seems incredibly conservative and something that I think a lot of people would push back at.
Well, look, I think the bottom line is people aren't going to follow it, and it doesn't really make sense to put out public health guidance.
There is going to be vaccine passports, by the way, that places like Europe, places like European Union will probably release like a vaccine passport or some shit like that. And inevitably this will be like conservatives who refuse to fucking take the vaccine will then turn around and say, this is just like Jim Crow segregation, brother. You're not letting me fucking live without a vaccine, brother. You know what I mean? I don't even think that that'll ever happen in America regardless, because there are plenty of fucking people who just like refuse to take the vaccine anyway. And it's un-American unless we're doing it to black people, of course. So the separate issue in Europe is that this creates a two-tier system. If it's easier for you to access the vaccine because of your socioeconomic condition, you act like conservatives actually travel to Europe. No. I'm saying that, like, in a sane world, vaccinations should give you like some sort of in a normal, sane fucking world, barring any sort of like medical disability or medical compliance or medical problem that you have, you should get the fucking vaccine. And at least for the duration of COVID, places should require you to show your vaccination papers, like your identification, after we get to a point where everyone can be vaccinated. And like limiting your movement in a fucking pandemic is literally understandable. You're supposed to do that. Good luck to these people trying to travel outside the USA without a vaccine card. Yeah. It creates a two-class system where the other one is restricted from freedom of movement and therefore is completely opposite to the ideas of Western democracies and Schengen are itself. No, I understand. But if you want to go to a fucking concert, you have to get vaccinated. Or you have to have at least like a medical qualification for why you haven't been vaccinated. And especially like if you have allergies or some shit and you can't get a fucking vaccine, then you probably have an underlying condition that would make COVID even more devastating for you. Therefore, you should be the most pro-vaxxer person. Most people are. Most people that have medical conditions that stop them from getting vaccines, like actually legitimately have medical conditions that stop them from getting vaccines, are gigantic vaxxers and gigantic fucking vaccination supporters, because that's the only way that they can reach herd immunity if everyone else is fucking getting the vaccine.
That you know people are going to ignore, because you lose your credibility and you lose your ability to speak to the public. So the bottom line is, people who are fully vaccinated have waited a period after vaccination. They're going to want to see their families again, even if their families aren't fully vaccinated. I think in a high prevalence environment, you should still be careful. Don't do it if you're not feeling well. Maybe get tested beforehand. I'm
far away from being anti-vax, but I'm not sure I agree with the vaccine pass. Why? It's literally how you fucking manage an epidemic. It's like saying, look, there are legitimate fears about contact tracing with respect to, your personal privacy, right? But you do contact tracing anyway because you want to make sure that you're limiting the spread of a deadly fucking disease in the middle of a pandemic. This is the same concept. For epidemiology, purposes, in order to limit or mitigate the spread of the pandemic, you have to have some sort of paperwork or something.
I think why not wear a mask in public, even if you've been vaccinated in a very high prevalent environment? But, you know, older people who've been vaccinated, they're going to want to see their kids again. They're going to want to see their grandkids. We need to prescribe public health recommendations on how you can do that safely, not say you can't do that, because people are going to do it. So, you know, the most prudent thing to do from a public health standpoint, my view, is try to prescribe guidance that gives people safe ways to do what they're going to engage in. And we know that...
You don't have a vaccination pass in America? I don't know how it works. Probably not. I mean... Yeah, you need shots to travel to certain places, obviously, so you don't fucking die. You need shots to go to certain places. You need vaccines to get to go to public school in America, I think. Like, you fucking need it. It's so dumb. Arguing against it is so stupid.
People who are fully vaccinated are going to want to see their families.
We've seen the case numbers nationwide come down astronomically. What's high prevalence? How do you determine if you're in a high prevalence area or not?
Yeah, I think we need to start shifting that debate as well. I mean, high prevalence, you know, we're still at 20,000 infections a day. That's still pretty high prevalence. But 20,000 infections a day now is different than what 20,000 infections a day looked like last spring or last summer. Because last spring or last summer, the entire population largely was vulnerable to this virus. Right now, the vulnerability of the population is being sharply reduced. I mean, assuming something unexpected doesn't happen with these new variants, particularly the South African and the Brazilian variant, we're dramatically reducing the proportion of the population that's vulnerable to this virus, either through prior infection, so people have some natural immunity, or more likely vaccination, where we're vaccinating fully more than 50% of those over the age of 65, more than 60% those over the age of 70. So as the vulnerability of the population overall comes down, I think we can put up with a little bit of a higher...
Guys, vaccination cards is a fucking heavily debated topic in a country as backwards and as dumbass and as individualistic as America. Okay, clearly we do not have the infrastructure. We don't have a national database for what kind of vaccines have been implemented for whoever the fuck. There is no such thing. States do not collaborate with one another, and very few states even have like accurate records to begin with. What the fuck? My ears are ringing. Holy shit. So it's just not happening, okay? There is a gigantic problem that even exists because we have to take 2 vaccines right now. So because of a lack of like a vaccination, like a private vaccination list, we can't even keep track of who's gotten their first vaccine and who needs to get their second vaccine shot.
Great content.
It makes sense if you have NHS, yes. It makes sense if you have universal health care. You can't do it in America because everything is super balkanized and segmented out to different mediators, healthcare providers, insurance companies, and even states themselves do not have these sorts of records.
Prevalence, if the case mix is much...
America is a perfect way to describe it. America is a patchwork of private health care.
Different if the cases are in people who are far less vulnerable to the virus. So we need to also look at the percentage of the population that's vulnerable as we look at prevalence. And we can't just say, well, you know, 20,000 infections or 10,000 infections today is what 10,000 infections were a year ago. It's not the same anymore because the population as a whole is gaining more protection from the virus.
Scott,
Okay, we're going to talk about Ben Shabibo being upset. Lastly, on today's news broadcast, there's another story that I want to cover, that I must cover. Okay? And that is motherfucking Ben Shabibo, okay? So, our Benny boy was on Twitter yesterday, I guess. I saw this this morning, and I found it to be really, really funny. Our boy Ben Shabibo, was on Twitter, and he saw a breaking 911, which is like a really fucking reactionary, dumbass Twitter account anyway. He saw a breaking 911 post that said, breaking, Chinese court rules homosexuality can be called a mental disorder, NYP. So Ben Shapiro saw this and said, looking forward to LeBron weighing in. Now, if someone else who is oftentimes an advocate for LGBT rights were to get mad at LeBron for assuming a hypothetical position that LeBron is going to have in this circumstance, it still would be ridiculous, right? Because you're like, you don't know what the fuck he's going to say. Like, you have no idea what the reaction is going to be. I get the joke that he's trying to make, by the way. He's saying that, like, LeBron loves China, despite the fact that he acts like he is a person who cares about human rights. He clearly does not care about human rights.